into rural communities, there's a network of walking routes that's growing, expanding very, very fast over the world. How do you see making use of walkers as a vehicle to drive creativity in local communities?
That's a very good question. I'm just thinking about the serendipity of this whole conference, because Tyra being here is serendipitous, Umberto doing the mosaics was serendipitous, me having a donkey was serendipitous, and this, my university in Sweden that I mentioned at the very beginning, Mid-Sweden University, is actually involved in a project right now. There's a walking route, St. Olaf's Leden, which runs basically from the Atlantic coast in Norway right the way through to the Gulf of Bothnia. And the project they're working on now, I'd have to email them to get, so I don't want to say something that may be slightly incorrect, but was obviously the idea of the slow tours, and that somebody is walking, they're going to stop and spend a little more time in the town, in each town, not least to recover, but also to do more types of local cultural stuff. So the idea behind the project is to get people doing at least cultural, I can't say on the cultural creative line there, but that's definitely the rationale behind it. And it absolutely works if people are coming in slow. The biggest, I could say, put the question the other way, or the answer, one of the biggest problems we have in rural, and especially my research in outposts, peripheral places, is we try to get the people there, and when we get them there, they're usually driving through. So they're going to stop, they have an hour, they'll eat something, so it's good for the restaurant. They might stay overnight if it's late night, and then they'll keep going. So the walking, I think, definitely is a way that it slows everything down, and people will pick and choose. That's the first thing. And the second thing, from the point of having a way, means that you have a number of very, very small communities on the route, each which then becomes part of the market, the opportunity to do something. So it creates the space for people to be in the very, very small places that on the highway they would miss. And in the case of Jokkmokk, not to do with walking, I mean, the walking there is a little bit different. When you do walking in Jokkmokk, it's probably to go into the forest picking mushrooms with a local, like I said, there's Sami culinary people who will take you out and do mushrooming and other things in the forest. So not necessarily on a trail, but still walking. Yeah. I think that's all I can say on it. From walking specifically, yes, or from. Yeah, I think, compared to, there's two sides there. One per 10 is good, but also you have to think, compared to the more urban you go, the economic alternatives are also so much higher. So when you have 1 per 10, and it's one of the only few development opportunities you have, then it can be really good. Yeah, so how we can get that a bit more. Give a very quick example, then I finish because we're probably out of time. But a very quick example, many of you are probably familiar with the new driving route in Ireland, the Wild Atlantic Way. I don't know if you've heard of that or not. It's like driving route that runs the whole way down the coast, west coast, the Atlantic coast of Ireland. Now the discussion, and that's been really successful. If you haven't heard of it, the Wild Atlantic Way, you should look it up. It's been very successful, but now the discussion in Ireland, at least in some of the regions, is how do we do this Wild Atlantic Way as a walking route instead of cars. So,
Okay. I've been told very much to wrap it up, to allow you to have coffee. And I want to thank again both of you, and please stay for the break at least if you can. And unfortunately you were a surprise guest, so you guys have to share. I just wanted to give a small thank you to Patrick for your more luggage for you.
thanks. Thank you very much.
And for your inspiration.
We can share this.
For your first, and we will definitely be in touch about your 5-year project going forward, and to find out how we can collaborate with that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Enjoy.